I'm so freaking tired from crying. Last night I was crying because of landslide, and then now I'm crying because of willing and able. And I just remembered how, like, that line that says, like, okay, I'll just play it for you guys. Okay. Oh. So, like, I wish you could know me, I wish I could know you, I'd be willing and able, or something like that. And it's so funny because, like, I just remembered my dad. Because honestly, I wish he could know me, to be honest, and I wish I would have actually known him, like, even more back then, and, like, also, like, what he would have been. Because, like, it's not normal to lose your parent at the age of 19, you know, the fuck? You're supposed to get them what they want for, like, your first paycheck or something. And I felt so sad when I got my first paycheck, because I was like, oh, would have loved eating after this or whatsoever. And then now it's like, it's kind of sad in a way that's like, when you're in your 20s, especially leading up to 25 or like 30s, a lot happens and like things progress. You change a lot internally and externally, and in a way you're not the same person as you were before, and fundamentally you have changed as well. And a part of me thinks maybe that's why sometimes I get sad or like nostalgic, because, or like, you know, nostalgic for like who I was before, like my ways before, was because there are people in my life, or there are people in my life, or were people in my life who could only know me through that. And I feel like if I change, like, you know, as a person, it's like not only losing myself, but also like I am aware that I'm not only losing, I don't really think it's a loss for me, but I have this feeling that it's kind of like a loss for them. And I have this feeling where, like, I know it's not true, like, it's stupid, but it's like, it's the way I go about it or feel about it is like, they're coming back, and like, what if they come back and then they don't recognize the person that I am? These people are not coming back, by the way. But like, you know, I have to tell myself, like, whoa, Jill, you don't have to do that. But then, like, also sometimes I just wish they got to know me now, or maybe they have had honestly, a part of me is able to believe myself because of the belief that they had in me. Because like, I had a thought. I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Oh my god. I was gonna say like, oh, I wish they could have known that this was me, like, this is how I am now. But then, come to think of it, I remember during my dad's funeral, during the wake at least, I barely cried, like, catering to guests, getting what they need. If anything, I have to console them as well, some of them at least. And then it was also hard for me to cry because out of all the 4 siblings, it was me who was on the front line of like catering to the guests, of course. And it's like, I cannot cry because like I have to say, oh hi, how are you, stuff like that, like, yeah, this is everything, this, I have to have that conversation with people because my sisters are like, no, I don't want to do that, blah, 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 which is totally understandable. But there was a time where I had to excuse myself, and if I did cry, I always cry privately. Maybe during those times, it was like I was trying to work my brain, because like, someone has to do that, someone has to do the work. And as a middle child, I have to do it. No, just kidding. It was supposed to be my sister, but they don't want to do all that. So what ended up happening was like, I remember my father's co-worker visiting, and there was this one. I know Ate Vanji. I still remember her name because like sometimes my dad would pick me up from school and his co-workers would be there who was like within the same barangay, and so she would make small talk and whatever. They're really close. And so I remember out of all the people, she was the one who asked like, hi, how are you? Are you okay? And stuff like that. And then I remember she was like, oh, it's great to know that you're okay. Your father used to say that out of all your siblings, you're the most responsible. Oh my god, I'm crashing out. I'm not crashing out. What a word. I need to stop saying that word. And I remember I could not hold it together. Because, like, what do you mean you think I'm responsible? Because all throughout my life, I actually don't care if people, like, recognize the things that I do. Because I never felt like doing it for the sake of being recognized or seen. It's just that I'm doing it because, like, it has to be done, And so, but sometimes though, back when I was a child, like younger at least, I used to be so ditzy, and sometimes like for some reason like my brain doesn't work sometimes. It's like there's a fucking error, and what would happen is, I would forget things or like get easily distracted, so much to a point where like when something serious needs to be handled, I would be present, but then like when they're trying to decide who has to do it, I would be there, and then the moment they like meet their eyes with me, that'd also be like, oh no, not you, because tama kay ka. It's like, okay, but for some reason they do let me do stuff anyway. Like if ever they need to do something, I have to do it with them. If there's someone in the family who needs to wake up early, food for everyone and pack lunch for everyone, the adults and my sisters who work and go to school, I do that work. I used to wake up at 3 in the morning because my sister has to work early, like 4 or 5, something like that, and my dad would be like, wake up, cook for your sister, because I'll be cleaning all the cars and like doing the work while everyone's asleep, etc., etc. And then, I actually do a lot of work at home. I think that's partly one of the reasons. Like, if the car needs to be cleaned, I can do that. If the car needs to be changed, I can do that. Like, some fixie stuff, especially at home. I also used to have my own room, and I do all the fixing, the cabinets, the paint, the electricity. Sorry, not the electricity, but like the light bulbs. I do understand how like electricity works, at least basic level, because like I would change to the outlets. Anyway, so I don't think that was ever acknowledged. If anything, going back, I don't think that was ever acknowledged. If anything, and then I also felt like useless. By the way, fun fact: I used to feel useless, and it's like I always have this need to be useful to the people around me. Otherwise, like, what the hell am I here for? Otherwise, I am disposable or something like that. Or I'm just like, I don't know. I don't have any way of external validation, okay? Because I would only get, like, you're so thoughtful, you're so talkative, you speak so well, or something like that. But for some reason, when I heard, like, you're responsible, I was like, holy shit, I needed that, because like I never ever believed, like I would always question myself, like sometimes when I get some serious stuff done, I would get this like anxiety or like weird feeling like I'm not the one doing it or something, imposter syndrome whatsoever. And back when I won like a feature writing award, he was the only one proud of it, actually. I mean, people congratulated, but like it's another topic. But yeah, I guess that affirmation made me believe myself more. I was like, yep, I am responsible. My father said it. And like, it's nice that people think that way even though they've never really said it to me, which is funny because like going back to the lyrics that like made me cry, like, I wish you could know me and I wish I could know you, I'd be really unable, something like that. This alludes to my philosophy, which is, or like not really philosophy, like a practice, which is never let a loving thought go unsaid. Like, never, never, ever. Because I don't know. I just think people should, like, I think people deserve to know it. If there's something nice about them, they deserve to know it. I don't know. Otherwise, how will they know if they're just like me? And also, tomorrows are never guaranteed. So like, if I'm not gonna say it now, then when? Diba? And I think it's important to understand that in the passage of time, it is inevitable for people to change. It can be beautiful, it can be bittersweet, but I think as a person who loves that person, it would be amazing if you get to witness all through those phases and withstand the passage of time. Otherwise, you're gonna be stuck with nostalgia. You're gonna be stuck with the only version of them you're willing to know. And sometimes that's how you fall out with people. Because it's like a year later, they're a different person, but you're still stuck with the person that she was or he was with the first time you met. And it's like, and it's also lonesome for the other person because like, why can't you just meet me where I am now? Why can't you try to know me where I am now? You're not with me right now. So like, in a way, the other feels lonely and you feel disconnected. There's a disconnect. So this applies to all, living and dead. I guess I could say more, speak more, but for now, maybe it's just that. Never let a loving thought go unsaid, and I think it is a privilege to witness people change. I have done that with my friends. I have allowed people in my space to witness that, and it's really nice. I think that's the point of being a witness to someone's life. I think that's the point of being there in people's lives. In a way, you're a passive chronicler. Not me though, I am passive because like I keep tabs with everything. I like knowing people that I love. Anyway, that's just it. Actually, it's just that there's more. I'm pretty sure there's more. It's just that at the top of my head, that's everything that I can remember for now. Bye bye. See you next time. Because like I'm actually about to edit a video, the one with like the questions way back a month ago. But I got so busy and I'm gonna be busy until Friday. But I just felt like I had to like, film this short video. Okay, I need to stop explaining. Bye. Have a good day. Oh yeah, I found what I was gonna say. In hindsight, I think he knew me. Like, my cornerstone as a person, or like fundamentally as a person, I think he knew me because out of everyone, he was probably the only person who thinks I am responsible. And I used to like not have that occur to me back then, but now, the person that I am now, I would dead ass think I am responsible. Am I ditzy? Sure. But I am actually responsible 110%. Yep. I'm breaking the scale. And he was ahead of me. So, in a way, he saw past all that. And he was probably thinking, oh yeah, this bitch will be fine. She'll be fine. He probably saw me in the future. He was like, she's a very unyielding spirit. She'll be fine. Come what may. So I think, yeah, in hindsight, he knew me fundamentally as a person. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Yep.